What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today Apple released iOS 14 Beta 7 to registered developers about a week after the release of Beta 6. Now we also got iPadOS 14 Beta 7, tvOS 14 Beta 7, and macOS Big Sur Beta 6. And if you're wondering about watchOS 7 Beta 7, that was released on Tuesday along with iOS 13.7, which is the reason that we did not see an iOS release earlier in the week. It's because of that surprise iOS 13.7 release, but nonetheless, the weekly beta cycles continue today. And for those of you who are on the public beta, you should be seeing this update today as well. I will have the description updated when it does get released. So anyways, in this video, we're gonna be covering what's new in iOS 14 Beta 7, along with the performance, the battery life, the bugs, and more. So taking a look at the size of this update, you can see here it came in at around 417 megabytes on my iPhone 11 Pro, and it was about 420 megabytes on my iPad Pro 2020 right there. So somewhere in the 400 megabytes range is what you will see for this. And if we go and check out the build number for this update, let's go to our settings, general, about, 14. You can see the build number there is 18A5369B. So we do have a B at the end of the build number there, which means we are very, very close to seeing a GM and then of course a final release for iOS 14. And as you can see, the modem firmware is unchanged at 2.00.01. That was the same as in Beta 6. So now what's new in iOS 14 Beta 7? And the first thing is actually a change to the wallpaper section. So if we go to our settings and go to wallpapers, choose new wallpaper, go to stills, you will see now we have a new dark mode option for all of the retro wallpapers here from Apple. So before there was no dark mode option, and now even in the preview it shows, the black right there. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that, if it's going to stay like that, but it does indicate that we will get a dark mode for these wallpapers. So if we go ahead and do, let's just say this one right here, let's go ahead and do set home screen. And then go back to our home screen. You can see there, that's what it looks like in normal mode. And then in night mode or in dark mode, you can see it changes the background to a black color. And if we go back out of dark mode, it changes it back to that. So that is new here in Beta 7 and something new you will see in iOS 14 when it does get released. Also new in Beta 7 are some changes to the app library. So the names of the folders have actually been updated and we get some new naming schemes here as well. So you can see here, we have productivity and finance. So it's kind of combined some things now. We have travel, that is new. Shopping and food, that is also new. And I have no clue why the Apple Store app is in there, maybe just to show that this is a new folder here inside of the app library. And then like I said, we have that new travel section here, which you could see Waze is now in travel instead of being bunched in with reference and reading. So yeah, Apple is continuing to refine and add things to the app library, which is nice because it does still need a lot of work, which I'll talk about here in a moment when we move on to the bugs section of this video. Also now in your settings, if you go to exposure notifications for the availability alerts, you can now do monthly updates instead of weekly updates for COVID-19 exposure notifications. Now, there is a bug here in Beta 7 where you can't even turn on the availability alerts on some devices. So on my iPhone 11 Pro, I cannot even enable availability alerts, even though I do have location services turned on inside of settings. I even tried, retoggling it on and off. And if we go into my location services here, you can see location services on. If we go down to my system services, you can even see that my location-based alerts is also on. So that's definitely a bug here in Beta 7. For some reason, you cannot enable the alerts here for the availability for exposure notifications. Now, thankfully in Beta 7, we do see a fix for the AirPods connection bug where it would show your AirPods connected and it would just show some weird placeholder code text. So now if we go and connect our AirPods, you will see up top, it shows properly that my AirPods Pro connected. And as for iPadOS 14 Beta 7, I've not noticed anything new aside from what I showed you on iOS 14 Beta 7. However, I have seen some people reporting some weird bugs where the icons and the home screen widgets would just randomly shrink and they would look like iPhone size and then they would go back to normal. So I've not had this on the iPhone and I've also not had it on the iPad, but I have seen multiple reports of this already. So that is one thing to be aware of. It's not going to hinder performance or anything like that. It's just a weird visual bug that has been noted here on beta 7. Now, as far as bugs go, I did show you guys the exposure notifications bug where you cannot enable the availability alerts, even though you have location services turned on. For some reason, this is not working for me here in beta 7, but there are also some other bugs that I wanted to talk about that were present in beta 6 and very well could be present here in beta 7 as well. Of course, I will let you guys know if these bugs have been solved in my follow-up video for beta 7, which comes out every single Saturday. I do the beta follow-up video, so stay tuned on Saturday for that. Of course, I don't have enough time within the hour and a half that I cover this to tell you guys if every single bug has been fixed. But one of the main bugs has actually been inside of messages, and more specifically inside of group messages. So if I'm in a group chat, one of the main things I noticed that's a bug in iOS 14, and this actually happened in iOS 13 as well, if you add a contact, it actually doesn't always show up as their contact name inside of group chat. Sometimes it will just still show their phone number. So for example, right where it shows the name of the people talking, obviously I'm not going to show phone numbers right now, but where it shows the name, it would show just their phone number, even though their profile, their icon over here would show the letter indicating that I have saved them as a contact, but for some reason it still shows the phone number right there. So that is a strange bug. I've also had a bug where the typing indicator is delayed. Sometimes it just simply would not show that the other person is typing, even though they just sent a message and I knew they had to be typing. And also I've noticed that the read receipts are also delayed or sometimes just don't show. Sometimes it'll just say delivered instead of saying read, even though the other person has read receipts on. So there are some minor bugs with the messages, and hopefully those have been fixed in beta 7. I will let you guys know for sure in my follow-up video on Saturday. Also, if we go over to my app library, you guys will notice that I can now tap on the first icon, at least most of the first icons here in the app library. So for some reason in beta 5 and previous betas, I was not able to tap on the first icon here. Actually, it looks like some of them you still can't tap on. You have to tap a couple of times to open up the application here inside of the app library. So it was still finicky on beta 6, and I don't think it happens on every device because it works just fine here on my iPad Pro. So maybe if it's like a full, folder or something, I'm not sure what causes it, but you can see here it works fine on this iPhone 11 Pro here, and it worked on other betas as well where it didn't work on my iPhone 11 Pro Max. So I will give you guys an update on that as well on Saturday. But so far, aside from the minor exposure notifications bug, I really have not noticed any bugs here in beta 7 so far. I'm sure I will later down the road, but we are in the 7th beta and this does have a B at the end of the build number, which means that we probably are not going to have too many bugs, and definitely not any bugs that are going to hinder the performance and make it seem like you're on a beta essentially. So there's not really going to be many bugs that are going to slow down your device or make you wish that you weren't on a beta, which is a great sign. Now I did also want to talk about a controversial feature here in iOS 14. So if we go to our settings and go to privacy, the tracking feature here is very controversial, especially with Facebook. So Apple actually plans on delaying the upcoming ad tracking feature here in iOS 14 because Facebook claims it's going to ruin their ad targeting. So here's what Alex Heath from The Information, it's a publication, this is what he said on Twitter today. Apple has told developers that it plans to delay enforcement of a controversial change in iOS 14 that would upend how ads are targeted on its devices. This is the same change that Facebook warned would impact its ad targeting last week. And then he comes back with an update from Apple saying that they confirmed the delay in enforcement for its new IDFA prompt until next year. On call with reporters this AM, said it made the decision after consulting with devs. It realized they need more time to adjust. A rare walkback by Apple, especially for something privacy related. And then Apple's statement was, quote, "We want to give developers the time they need to make the necessary changes, and as a result, the requirement to use this tracking permission will go into effect early next year." So this was a very interesting move from Apple. Like he mentioned, you really don't see Apple backtrack too much when it comes to privacy, especially for something like this. So unfortunately, that feature will not be available until next year. But obviously that doesn't mean that iOS 14 is coming out next year. That just means that that feature will not be implemented into iOS 14 until probably a point release of iOS 14 sometime in 2021. So I thought that was pretty interesting and something I wanted to share with you guys. But anyways, moving on to the performance and battery life of beta 7. As far as performance goes, performance feels about the same as beta 6 to me. I've not had any hiccups yet, and I don't plan to have any because I didn't really have anything major happen in beta 6. So everything should be about as smooth as it was in beta 6, if not better. But of course, time will tell, and I'll let you guys know in my follow-up video. As far as the Geekbench scores, you can see we got a 1335 and a 3368 versus a 1330 and a 3410 on beta 6. So a slight increase to the single core and a slight decrease to the multi-core for whatever that's worth. But again, Geekbench scores don't really tell you the full story. And as far as the battery life on beta 7 should be pretty solid, just like beta 6. Now, beta 6 actually improved the battery life for most people. So I saw a lot more people than not saying that battery life improved, for some drastically, on beta 6 compared to beta 5. So I would expect those same gains to carry over in beta 7, and I would expect a gradual improvement to the battery life until we get the final version of iOS 14. So it looked like the biggest jump is going to be from beta 5 to beta 6, and then it'll be a little bit more gradual going forward is what I would expect. But of course, I'll let you guys know in my follow-up update on Saturday if the battery life is significantly better, if it's just a little bit better, or if it's the same. I'll let you guys know in that video after I've used the software for a couple of days. Now, as far as the next iOS 14 beta, so that would be iOS 14 beta 8, we could probably expect to see that next week, the week of the 7th. However, the 7th is Labor Day, so we probably won't see anything on the 7th. We will probably see something on the 8th or the 9th, or maybe even the 10th, which would be pretty rare, but I would think either the Tuesday or the Wednesday, the 8th or the 9th, is when we will see iOS 14 beta 8. Now, we could also be seeing new Apple products as early as next week. So we could see a new iPad and also a new Apple Watch. So this is all from John Prosser. He tweeted out that we could see both a new Apple Watch and a new iPad sometime next week via a press release. So definitely stay tuned for that. And you guys know I will cover both those new products here on the channel as well. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for iOS 14 beta 7. Let me know how the software is running for you. And of course, stay tuned for my follow-up video coming on Saturday, where I let you guys know how the performance and battery life have been going, over time. And I also talk about the community poll, which, by the way, be on the lookout for that community poll as well. That'll probably be up sometime tomorrow. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. And of course, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future iOS 14 videos. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.